We're here live, podcast number 1 with Mr. James. Introduce yourself, my friend. Cheers.
What's up? My name is James Begin. I play in a band called Tropidelic, and then I also tour around doing some solo hip-hop stuff, which brings me to the city today.
Yeah, we're playing, alright, so we're playing a show in Rockaway Beach today.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about that? How many times have you been to New York, and what's the history?
I've been in New York a few times, exclusively playing music. I don't think I've ever come just to like hang out or something, which is cool about like coming solo instead of with the band is I have like a lot more time to kind of hang out and do stuff. Brought my boys Matt and Toby here with me too, so we got to kind of, or we just got in town now, but we're gonna get to kind of hang out and not be worried about the next show. We're off tomorrow and going home, so we're gonna hang out and have a great time.
So, did you start out with hip hop? Were you a solo artist?
No, so I used to play in like drums and sing in like punk and ska bands. And then we started opening up for Tropidelic. So then that's how I kind of got in the game there. And then I met Toby my freshman year of college. And then he was like, oh, I rap. And I was like, oh, I kind of rap too, like whatever. And then he showed me a song. He's like, you should jump on this. And I heard it and I was like, oh, you really rap. So then I kind of started studying up a little bit. And then when I joined Trop, we were working on a song that just kind of needed something. And I was like, well, I kind of rap. And they're like, really? And I was like, yeah. So then I wrote something and they're like, oh, no, you rap. So that was really kind of like the kick in the ass to get it going, and now take it very seriously. And I consider myself a rapper now more than a singer or anything like that, which is not something I ever expected.
So it was like a ska band that you were in?
Yeah, we were called the Glow Pop Jiggly Jams.
Glow Pop, and yeah. That's from like where, Ohio?
Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah, but we did tons of cool stuff. Like we played with Less Than Jake. We played with all we did the rounds. Like we were just in high school, but we did pretty well, and we had a pretty solid fan base, which. I think is what really helped me get in with Tropidelic as well.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah.
So you basically start off like ska punk. You got with and then what made you decide that you want to go into the hip hop route?
I think a big part of it was meeting Toby. I mean, growing up too, like a bunch of my friends rapped, so everybody kind of could. Like so yeah, but then also too seeing Tropidelic play and how Rhodes incorporates hip hop in his style too. I was like, oh, I can like do that. So then it kind of started fleshing itself out.
That's sick. So what are some stories that you can tell us about the road?
It's a wild time. Like I said, the stuff with Trop has gotten so involved and busy lately that like we have a blast on the road. We love playing the shows, but it's always on to the next town, on to the next town. One of my favorite things about, again, touring the hip hop stuff is it's a lot more on my own schedule. So I kind of get to do whatever I want. But a great story we had was last summer, me, Toby, and our buddy Timmy came out to do a show on Long Island with the Oogie Wah Wah guys. They set us up,
okay.
Yeah, they set us up a show. Love those guys. And after that got set up, or the night before, we were partying in Brooklyn. We ended up at this like rooftop kind of like DJ thing. And then we ended up at this like after hours, like 2 a.m. to 6 a.m, like art show rave thing. So we did some stuff and we had a great time at this rave, and we ended up running around the town, and we all woke up in different boroughs, and the car was in, me and Toby were in Queens, our buddy was in Manhattan, and the car was in Brooklyn, and we had to get to the show the next day, so we had to like figure out the public transportation in the morning after still being awake all night at this rave, and it was just absolute chaos. But yeah, I mean, New York City has always just been such a cool time, and like being from Cleveland too, like absolutely love Cleveland, and it definitely has like a big city feel sometimes, but like it's easy to walk around Cleveland, kind of just know everybody and where you're at. It's like, it really feels like, not being from the city coming into it really feels like you're going down the Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole, and it's just like, what the hell is this? This is amazing. It feels like a playground. Like so much fun.
I feel like as an artist, what I feel from you is that you're more excited about the energy of like traveling and like exploring things. Like, what's the next day gonna bring you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, that's kind of like the whole thing is like following a dream, following a passion, and like it's supposed to be hard work, and like it needs to be hard work if you want to be taken seriously and to do well. But it's like sometimes I feel like it gets lost in the mix of things, that it's like, hey, like I'm out here seeing the world and enjoying it. Sometimes you don't really get all the time that you'd want to, like while touring, just because of how demanding it can be. So Again, like, I mean, this is my like weekend off, and I booked 2 shows because it was like.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So you're going back on the road?
We're going back out in 2 weeks. So yeah, I have next weekend off as well. But
yeah, you guys do like.
But we book shows when we have time off, just because it's like, let's get out there and let's do it. And again, too, it's just like, if I'm gonna go to New York City, I don't want to go to New York City and not play a show. Like, I don't know. So it's just kind of like, it's almost, we book these shows so that we have a reason to go, and then we have a great time. We make new fans, do new things, and then we get to really just enjoy where we're at. It's way more leisurely than the Tropidelic stuff is, which is cool. And I really need that.
I think a good segue, you know, since you're in New York and we were sitting at the Wu-Tang table, you know, one of New York's legendary hip hop artists. So how do yourself and Toby feel about actually doing hip hop in New York tonight and going out in New York, experiencing it?
We were talking about how like we were just coming out to New York City for one show for one day. And like in the car we even said too, like there's no reason that we don't do at least 2 rap shows in New York City a year strictly because it's New York City. Like,
right.
If you're a student of the game in any capacity, like how dare you move past New York City and not try and like, it's where it started, it's where it's happening still at its heaviest. Like you got to come to New York City and you got to play a rap show because like how dare you not if you even want to kind of try and do this. Like, and like, I mean, we rounded up, this is some corny ass shit, but like we rounded the corner today, like on 80 listening to something, and then Toby switched the song to fucking New York State of Mind, and then the skyline came into view and we put the windows down and we were like, hell yeah, let's get it. Like the energy was through the roof in the car. Like it's so cool to be here. And again too, just like the lore and the history behind all of it as well is just like, this is where it started and where it's happening. Like let's go there and do it.
You know, it's funny, I can relate because I do the same thing when I go to California.
Absolutely, it's exactly the same feeling.
Well, you're in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
So you do the same thing when you're in Cali as well.
Yeah.
Like when I'll go out to Cali, especially like if I'll do a Fortunate Youth video or a Slightly Stupid video, I'll go in like crazy like Cali mode, and they're just like, oh, this is life.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's really crazy, but same thing. It's like I do it more for the passion. That's where I relate. Where it's like as a filmer,
yeah, I
go out to Cali or Florida or wherever, and I'm kind of enamored by everything around me.
Yeah, well, that's like I don't know, that's like what's supposed to happen, you know what I mean? Even with like rap music and stuff too. Like when you're listening to Jay-Z or to Biggie or anybody like that, like you feel like you're in New York City. So it's like when you go to these places, you turn that on because you want to have the complete experience. Same like when you go out to California, you start bumping some reggae, you start bumping some Stupid, some Pepper, anybody, you know? So it's like you got to get yourself in the zone for where you're going. And it's right. It's interesting not being from either of those places and doing hip hop and reggae music. It's like such a wild thing to like, I feel like I really have to soak it in when I'm there so I can take that energy with me and go do it other places like throughout the year.
You're absolutely right. I think like, even when I first started going to LBC, Long Beach, California, like I literally hit all the spots where Sublime played.
That they mention in the songs and stuff
like,
too.
Literally
yeah.
The Sublime videos. When I was working with Miguel, who produced all the Sublime albums.
Oh yeah.
So we would do a video for his side project, and then he's like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "Take me to where the video was shot." And we had a beer. He's like, "Yeah, this is where Brad was. This is where he met his wife." I'm just like, "Holy!" I was like,
"Dude, right?" It's like, I mean, that stuff's real history now, and like, you know, like it can't be taken lightly. Like, you know, I mean, like, how many people know Sublime, or how many people know Wu-Tang, or how many people know whatever? It's like
crazy.
You can go to the spots where that just happened, and you can like check it out, and like, if you're there, like, how dare you not? You know?
Yeah. You know, birthplace of hip hop was in the Bronx, you know, and it's like, I actually, like a few years back, it's kind of cheesy to say, but there's a Kid Rock video, and I got the call to like be one of the camera guys for the Kid Rock video. It was with Kid Rock and, man, I'm drawing a blank. Who's the dude? Who's the white rapper guy? He speaks real quick. He's on Shady Records.
His name's Yellow Wolf.
Yellow Wolf.
Oh, Yellow.
It's Kid Rock, Yellow Wolf, okay? And, yeah, thank you, Toby Raps.
That's
I'm going to edit it where it's like, but, so we went, and Kid Rock, like, they literally picked a project, right? Like, you know how projects have, like, this little empty backyard, like, alleyway?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where the video was shot. So they shot it on top of garbage with these, like, project buildings, these big brown project buildings. And I think it was like really authentic the way they did that. And DJ Kool Herc came out, who was like the original.
No way. Yeah.
Kool Herc was like the first guy to like put the 2 turntables together. And no, you know, this is all like 20-year-old interns like working, and I'm just like, you're
Do you
DJ
know who
Kool
you're
Herc.
standing next to?
I was the only one to take a selfie with him, and like I'm supposed to be working, and like I didn't give a fuck about Kid Rock or Yellow Wolf. I was like, holy shit, Kool Herc, I got his info.
No
I actually
way.
hung out with him for like the week after. I'm like, where are you gonna be? And we met up at like the Bowery Electric for an underground hip hop show.
No shit.
But I didn't like push it after that. I only hung out with him once or twice.
Yeah.
I still have his number.
There's a way to do it. There's a way to do it.
But he knows who I am now. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Kool Herc. But yeah, it's crazy how he grew up in like Jamaica. He's Jamaican, and like he just took like the dance hall style, and he's like, fuck it, let me put the two turntables together, link them. But yeah, I feel like for hip hoppers like you guys, I think for myself to contribute to the scene, it's like when I heard you doing shows, I was like, dude, anything I can do to help with that. So
Dude, cannot thank you enough too. Like, this is so cool. Just again, like, we were one phone call away from setting up a show in New York City. All I did was say, like, hey, I want to do this show. And you're like, let me get back to you in 2 days. And you sent me a lineup and everything. Like, I was like, all right, we have a show. Better start posting.
The show's actually pretty cool. The band called Slashers.
Yeah, I checked them out.
They open up for Pennywise.
Hell yeah.
At the House of Vans. It's gonna be a lot of good vibes tonight with a lot of. I'm about the culture, so when I do shows, I don't really do it for like how much money or how many people. I do it for like what kind of people are going to be there, and
absolutely,
it's going to be a very good mix. What are your goals, like as a rapper or even as an artist? What are your goals in the next 5 years? 5-year plan?
My goals change all the time, and like I don't know, like in high school and stuff, like all I ever wanted to do was go on one tour. I wanted to say I went on a tour, and then. So that's all I ever wanted to do was just go on one tour, and then so I booked one and we went on a tour in high schools, whatever, and then our band did pretty well like around the area in Cleveland and stuff growing up, but then I was very realistic about it. I was like, okay, like I love this is what I want to do, but I'm gonna go to college, like, you know what I mean? And then I ended up joining Trop when I was in college, and I dropped out to kind of get this going. Right, so like I said, all I ever want to do was go on a tour, and now like I just like all I want to do is come home, because it's like there's just so much going on all the time. So it's like, wow, that was all I ever wanted. Now I think a big part of my goal is to tour a little less and be able to like get to a point where like these shows are ripping so hard that I don't have to be on the road all the time, so I can kind of stay home and enjoy that and help my friends out around town. But I'm really looking forward to just getting back out there and being able to, like I said, keeping the mindset of enjoying where I'm at in the moment. That's a big goal of mine, is trying to get better at living in the moment. Because especially like, I'm sure you understand too, it's always like, what's the next thing? What's the next big thing I can do? So it's like when things are happening, everyone's like, oh my God, that's amazing. Do you feel incredible? And I'm like, well, like this is really awesome, but like, I didn't just wake up and this happened. Like there was like years that went into this that it happened. So when things go right and things happen, it's not like, oh my God, can you believe this? It's thank fucking God, this better be happening because I did all of this stuff. So it's like, sometimes it's hard to
How old are you?
28.
So how many, you've been doing this for like 10 years?
I've been on the road with Trop for 9 years, yeah, and then a couple years before that with my stuff.
I have a theory, it's like called the 5-year plan, and it's not a 5-year plan, it's like constant.
Yeah.
So my theory is, even with watching like new bands or new artists, you have 5 years to actually not really make it to the top, but make it in the mix.
Sure.
So from the beginning. So for example, in 2000, I'd say like 2004, 2005 is when I started really going hardcore with the filming.
Yeah.
So 5 years from that was 2009, right? So 2004, 5, and 6, I'm doing local skateboarders, I'm filming clouds, I'm just doing random shit for myself just to keep myself happy, like,
yeah,
you know, not to be cool or anything. And then it's crazy, in 2009, knock on wood, very nice Wu-Tang wood, 2009, the universe, God, whatever, blessed me. The same fucking year, I met Slightly Stupid on the beach. Not even at a show, just met them. Didn't even know what they look like. I was talking to them, making them laugh. Oh, come on tour with us. We're Slightly Stupid. I'm like, okay. And the same year, Snoop Dogg. So, and then Snoop Dogg posted one of my stickers.
No shit.
I went from like 200 on my Instagram to like 10,000.
No kidding.
Like
overnight,
in 2009, like over that week, and like all my friends like, Snoop just posted your fucking sticker, dude. And that's when the ball started rolling, and like you, I was like, all right, what's the next step here?
Yeah.
And I was like, now that I got the attention with Slightly Stupid and Snoop, go.
What's like? What do you do with that then? You know what I mean? I think that's what separates like the people who do something and people who don't, is like when you get that inch, taking it the mile, and like, you know what I mean? Like you met them and you were chilling there, and like things like that happened to you because, you know, you weren't sitting in your room fucking around editing photos. You were going out meeting people and like, you know, jumping into things. Like I think that's such a huge part of it too, is just like getting out there and making yourself accessible and available, because you never know when like fire like that's gonna hit, you know? Like
even with you, like how many hours did you guys drive out to New York from last night?
7.
So yeah. You literally, how many people will get in a van, drive 7 hours from one gig to another? Like a lot of people, you know, they stay on the couch or they they go on Facebook, but I feel the people that persevere are the ones that actually go for it.
The ones that get to rip rap shows in New York City.
And I do believe that if you really have that mindset, I hate to say cliche shit right now, but if you have that mindset,
It's cliche for a reason. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like if you say you're gonna do it, like you're only gonna be successful rhetorically. Like if it's manifestation.
I would say to that too. It's that like if you don't say you can do it, then you definitely never will. You know what I mean? So it's like if you're not at least believing in yourself and saying I'm gonna make this happen, then if you're not even doing that, then why would anybody else do that? So it starts with you, and it starts with that mindset.
You look at my Ric Flair Wu-Tang shirt. I sent this design over like years ago to the Ric Flair Facebook, and like he posted it or whoever's in charge posted it like the next day, and the phrase was like on a Wednesday, just like right?
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. And I didn't even meet the dude. This is all through Facebook. So I wore the same shirt last week. I did my photos for Reggae Rise Up. I casually walked across the street. And it's funny, you have like all these, it's probably like 100 people online. And Rick is just like, he's standing at the,
doing the job.
And I yell, I was like, Rick, you're a fucking legend. And I got his attention, and he just like, it was rude what I did, but he looked at me and he's just like, yeah. And he like, so when it was my turn, he's like, what's up, man? I was like, what's up? And like, we did a woo, and that was like my manifestation. Like I met him. So let me ask you, who would you like to meet, like in life, that's not musical or artistic? Like who inspired you?
Ooh, Kurt Vonnegut's a big one. R.I.P.
Writer?
The author. Yeah, I'm a big reader. That's like, I think about stuff like that a lot. Love Kurt Vonnegut.
Harrison Bergeron. That's one of my favorites.
Dude, that's actually, so I read that. Yeah, so I read that short story in my English book in like middle school. I bring that up to people all the time. I'm like, people are like, oh, because I have a Kurt Vonnegut tattoo. So people always like ask me about him, like, oh, you got a Kurt Vonnegut tattoo, and they ask me what my favorite short story is by him, and Harrison Bergeron is one of them. And everyone's like, I think I know. Like a lot of people don't even realize that that's him. I feel like they read it in school, and I'm like, no, that's the guy.
Kurt.
But a lot of skateboarders too. I mean, Cleveland has an awesome skateboarding scene. Tony Hawk just skated like one of our homies like private ramps the other day when he was on tour running around. But we got Chad Muska's from Cleveland. I actually went to college with his little sister. She like
He's an artist.
Yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, a lot of skateboarding stuff. I don't know, kind of like you. I just like being a part of the culture and stuff like that. And I think skateboarding is a really unique link between like reggae and hip hop as well, because both genres have kind of like developed like a attachment to that. So I think skateboarding makes me feel at home in both hip hop and reggae.
Sick, dude. So anything else you'd like to say, or anything you look forward to tonight?
Super stoked on the show. Super stoked to be here.
Anything you want to shout out for the episode? Anything you want to promote for yourself? Where to go? What websites?
James Begin on Spotify. I'm gonna have a bunch of new music coming with my buddy Toby. You can find me on Instagram at James Begin. Check out Tropidelic. Mad love to Race Fist Propaganda for having me out.
Thank you, sir.
Catch you later, bro.
Yes, sir. And let's do one shot of I'm gonna pretend to do a shot. One shot of sake right here. Bong.